to the LTA North for Game 3 of FlyQuest versus C9, and the upper bracket and lower bracket have actually really delivered.
Yes.
This is the maximum number of games we have this week. Last week we had 4 2-0s. This week we have 4 series going to the third and decisive game. And Fearless, and a reminder, the winner of this next game is going to be playing 100 Thieves to determine the #1 seed at the America Stage tournament. But how did Cloud9 turn it around?
For me, it was about that big old Vulcan Alistar.
Big old Alistar.
Big old Alistar. He gets to prove us like why he is so good at engaging and being able to find a amazing 3-man knockup for what ended up being a clean house for, and a lot of the gold went to Loki. So Loki was an incredibly... Boom! The setup was great.
The margins on this were so close too, right? Like FlyQuest were so close to getting a few kills coming out of this.
Yeah.
But most importantly, it was a 4 for 0 and Feet of Warfare and Grubs. And this set up absolute dominance from C9 in this early game, not just in these fights, but also around every single objective, right? Like they got all 6 Grubs, they ended up getting Rift Herald, they got Drake stacking in a place where FlyQuest absolutely had to contest them. And so it was nice to see this type of game from C9, because this is what, when they really shone last year, it was through this huge early game dominance.
Exactly, and you do have like a snowballing composition, right? Like the fact that you're able to play with Alistar, Yone, and you're going up against like Maokai, Smolder.
Raz, I heard you didn't like some of the things about that composition.
Yeah, but you snowballed, so it worked out. Like even if I didn't like it, you got such a large lead early. And even when FlyQuest found a great dive topside, Cloud9 I still felt was able to recover, and Loki was untouched in those moments. So that was something that I was really happy with C9 and being able to, even with that one mistake they had on the top dive, maintain the lead and play well around Otacon.
Yeah, and let's pull that up when C9 acquired Otacon. They hate cats because technically this denies the second cat adoption from FlyQuest. But more importantly, to the actual play at hand, FlyQuest, I think, really tried to brute force their way through that tight corridor, get absolutely shredded by the Rumble ultimate, and then Massu on the back end just gets popped at the very end, so he was never able to find the right entrances into fights.
Yeah, and we talked about previously when FlyQuest really shone in week 1, it was through their flanking carries. But if everything has gone down, it then allowed C9 to immediately get onto Massu, get onto Quad, be able to take them out of the fights. And C9 has the perfect composition for this, right? Because we talked about the Alistar already, but the Yone can go all the way across fights. Thought Loki looked really, really good in this game.
And just, we see it every game. The terrain on Otacon is just so hard to play around, because if you all funnel through Tribush or just through any sort of corridor, it's very easy for the enemy team to be able to like manage that, especially if you're playing versus Rumble. In this exact game, Smolder was like separated from his team when he was going through Tribush, and basically the entire team was taking a fight while you're like, okay, like I'm the most fed, but how do I get through there?
Oh no!
Cloud9, calm down.
They even photoshopped in the little,
They got the pick.
Cloud9 is ready. This, of course, refers to an actual top lane tier list Bwipo put out. And he said, you can't blind Rumble on blue because you're going to be played into Galio. They knew exactly what was coming. Shut him down. I hope this banter continues, quite honestly, because you know if Bwipo wins, he's doing the same thing to Cloud9.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's in an interview. If he's getting an interview, he's like, all right, I've got my speech prepared. So I think like the point about Otacon, the point about like terrain, like a lot of these fights, FlyQuest was just separated and not really able to play the fights coherently. So going into the next game, definitely going to be another focus on team fights. That has been the series so far. C9 was able to find some great ones in the second game and carry the gold lead through. So wonder what the composition is going to be like, Emily.
Yeah, I honestly think it's just the game now, right?
True.
We saw it in our first series as well, because we have so many rigid timers around neutral objectives. Even if you have something where you want to be able to split the map and have control in side lanes, it still needs to be able to pull off a lot of these 5v5 fights. What I think is interesting is, like, I thought C9 had a lot of really good range in their composition in game 1. I like Raz had some reservations about their composition in game 2, but they lost game 1 and then they won game 2.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking about what is missing in Fearless. As you can see, a little bit more prep trying to go into what your priorities are going to be now with what is effectively going to be 26 bans before the first pick ends up being taken. Currently, Renekton and are both still up for Thanatos, which has got to feel great.
That feels amazing.
When you're moving into game 3 of this series, Bwipo can play a whole bunch of champions, but with the bread and butter being open for Thanatos, that's at least one thing that I think Cloud9 can be pretty happy about.
Especially since I think the Smolder pick isn't really going to harm what you've been practicing regularly. Even though Smolder has been like last year, the pick that you play into Yone, I think Quad has a lot in his bag anyway, so I think it's not going to impact him that much.
Yeah, we are very close to being able to get into this next game. We have seen some of these Game 3 Fearless be draft diffed, because if you get cornered a little bit with what you think is a good lane matchup, your overall team comp can be bad. So it's putting these coaches and teams to the test early on. Flowers, take it away.
Oh, we're ready. Let's do this. Third game, final game, only of this series, not of the day. A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, whoever wins this one and secures their ticket to Brazil will then immediately play a best-of-1 against 100 Thieves to decide who is our first seed and who is our second seed in our America's format playoffs, where our top 4 go against Brazil's top 4 here in a couple of weeks. Kobe, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready, baby. Let's get into game number 3 here. 1 apiece. Early games have been critically important in this series thus far, both showcasing that they can snowball and continue to chain these objectives on the map to run it all the way through. I do like how they're leading in, talking about the evolution now with Fearless down on this draft. Top lane has been a big topic just because Bwipo has been so outspoken. But also bottom lane really becomes critical here, because it depends on like which type of comp you want to continue playing in this game. Is there still going to be like heavy dive, and we raise the priority on like Xayah Rakan combinations? Rakan is off the table now, so if you wanted to do the super safety of Xayah into a dive comp, then you would have to have some other support paired with it. But there we go. There's the Renekton. That's at least one of the 2 they were talking about for Thanatos off the board. And Betsa also still not going to enter this series.
Exactly. The way that I'm looking at that, as soon as you see the Renekton second ban from FlyQuest, if you're C9, you know they want Ambessa first pick, and they will slam it if they get the opportunity. So they ban that out second. Aurora and Skarner, both still not allowed to be played in this one. Varus going to be banned out here as well.
Okay, so if the Kalista question that we had last game for last ban, it represents itself. I guess they still go with it here and do want to take that one off. So we're going to be in a possible Kai'Sa like Ashe world.
No, Kai'Sa's Fearless banned. This is just the
he's doing it because of his he always does the shout out. But Ashe, Misfortune.
Ashe will be the choice. Okay. Remember, this has been banned out in the previous games, was not able to be played because of the standard bans, but this time around, because of everything in Fearless, Ashe managed to slip through the cracks as Ambessa and Renekton took that priority in the first half of the draft. So FlyQuest will put Massu on that one.
You can already start to think about like dive stuff that is going to be able to punish the low mobility carries. Ziggs would be something that can follow up on some dive, and certainly that ultimate will be very, very useful in those team fights. So also opens up for the roaming supports for Vulcan. Ziggs very good in wave clear as the game goes on too. So some flexibility here for Cloud9 in answer. Makes you also think about their AD options for solo lanes as well.
Okay,
that would be a massive team fight.
Yeah, Wukong is one of those champions that you're seeing a lot in pretty much everywhere, so the fact that he makes it through to Game 3 of the Fearless feels fine for the side of C9.
Yeah, as soon as they see the Ashe that has no escape, they're like, okay, Wukong quite good into that. Ziggs ultimate over the top. That should be most of an Ashe health bar.
The combo goes wombo, my friend.
It truly does. All right. Oh, let's buff that health bar up, Flowers. You want some shields on that health bar?
Yeah. Some shields powered by some thrift store items that only cost 2,100 gold because they're made for support.
Little Ivern shield, little redemption on top of you. That'll make you feel nice and cozy here. The Ivern did come back to bite them now. FlyQuest dropping right into that one. So they've got it really covered here then. They'll have massive engage options with utility of Ashe Nautilus, as well as Ivern, and just frees FlyQuest up to have really heavy damaging solo lanes. Like, they can pick Quad and Bwipo, some good DPS here, and have a very secure team fight because of all their utility already snatched up.
Just absolutely insane lockdown. Ivern root caller, Ashe arrow plus the follow-up slows, Nautilus existing. These three champions have that taken care of. The answer from C9, they're going for a Taliyah.
All right, Taliyah plus Wukong, not too shabby of a mid jungle here. We'll see about what they want to deny then, because with jungle and bottom lanes just taking, I guess you're protection banning for your Taliyah in mid now. I mean, there's just so many options for Quad though. His champion pool is really, really deep. They're a little bit worried about the lane matchup there with the Orianna and the problems that another shielding champion would present to their AoE wombo that they want to get off with their first pick and second pick here for Cloud9. So taking away the Orianna definitely does seem very like a very strong choice here. What else could Taliyah possibly be worried about?
Well, on the other side, though, FlyQuest continuing to focus the top lane. Gnar going to be banned away for their 4th ban. The final ban for C9 will be the Hui, another mid laner, like you're talking.
And another one that can also provide the shield. So they're, again, taking away 2 of these mages from mid lane that would fit so nicely in for FlyQuest.
Do we go top lane here again, though, as 5th ban for Fly?
That's most of what you're looking at with Thanatos. So they have one to kind of splash here if they want, and there they do. Okay, so a Mumu support. It would be a Mumu support game from Vulcan. They don't want, again, more things to layer with this AoE that we saw in the very early picks for Cloud9. So they want to take that Mumu setup out of the game too.
All right, what's it going to be, C9? I expect to see the support locked in here. Leave that top lane for the final pick, the Bard.
So when we saw the Ziggs and we were talking about, oh, he's great for wave clear and letting a support, roaming support link into this game, that's a quintessential roaming support right there, Flowers. Also, it's quite good, and I think one of the underrated things is the picks that you can get with Bard. The ultimate burning cooldowns, trying to pick people off in side lanes. Since FlyQuest so often pick very, very structured 5-on-5 front-to-back compositions, if you can try and prey on their side lanes, you know, split with a Taliyah, have a Bard roaming around to put extra pressure on trying to get picks in kind of the downtime between objectives, then you can set yourself up that way.
Great combo with the Ziggs ulti too. Bard throws the Tempered Fate from 2 miles away. As long as Ziggs gets the timing right, then you follow it up with the Mega Inferno Bomb also from 2 miles away. Easy, massive AoE, and we are going to see plenty of damage locked in those solo lanes for FlyQuest, just like you were talking about. The Viktor for Quad and the Urgot for Bwipo. This is one of those picks he actually tweeted out a couple of days ago when he was going live on his stream. Play Urgot before it gets nerfed. This is free LP. You should be playing this on ladder. He's playing it right now.
He is a very good Urgot, loves Urgot, a very, very strong champion in the 5-on-5s. When we see FlyQuest and Bwipo pilot it, he'll go second item Sterix and then use those Ivern shields. He's like, Ivern shields on me, because I am going in. And he'll be like frontline Urgot. But we got the counter here. Thanatos goes with the Camille. So both junglers definitely going to have to pay attention to that lane. I hope that we do get the standard lanes, because I think standard lanes will provide a really fun game where you have a Ziggs, you know, wave clear down here, and then possible roamings from both Nautilus and Bard, and then you get to see the Camille matchup into the Urgot here. Thanatos, a very strong laner. I want to see about the jungler visitation up to that top side. Of course, Wukong is so much more potent at level 6.
Yeah.
To really try and bring something about there.
All right, let's do it. FlyQuest versus C9. Game number 3 in this best of 3. Winner punches their ticket to Brazil guarantees you are at minimum #2 from North America, heading to that America's playoffs. You're feeling great. You're ready to go into the tiebreaker. Well, I guess it's not really a tiebreaker, but more like the seeding match, best of one right after. Loser isn't eliminated. Still going to get to have another chance next week on Sunday to play for the opportunity to go as the 3rd or 4th seed. FlyQuest having the game 1 control pretty much from start to finish, although they stalled out a little bit in the mid-game. C9 control over the 2nd game in the same kind of way. It was that 4-for-nothing fight in the topside river, and FlyQuest never got their footing back.
And if we're looking at these 2 comps, like we talked about in Champ Select, they're coming in with 2 very different priorities. It is Cloud9 trying to control a lot of side lane plays in the mid-game. They have really good split push. They have the roaming support in the Bard to try and make picks. Camille and Taliyah are so good when the map opens up and you can try and make those picks with these solo laners. And FlyQuest have got their very classic, super strong, almost fortress-like composition here that is very, very solid in the 5-on-5s. And they have the extra added benefit of the Ashe hawk shots for extra vision to be able to play kind of those tenuous times in the game where you are rotating between objectives or you're trying to tend to the side lanes. And the lane swap does get off here. So wards in the side. And they're going to walk right up through the side brush. Busio's being sneaky about it.
Yeah. FlyQuest finally going to reveal what's going on here with the lane swap. They'll put Busio and Massu up into the top side. Thanatos just has to back away. Bwipo going to be on the receiving end of the same kind of hurt down here in the bottom lane. Starts off with that disdain to try to dodge some of this poke, but Ziggs and Bard, not very fun for poor old Urgot.
Yeah, he took a lot more damage because he was really trying to get an experience range. I mean, Thanatos ideally was too, and they have increased the experience range that you can still get it from and try and soak just on the edge of it there. And Bwipo's going to immediately teleport back level 1.
Okay, he misses the first minion, but he's back in time for the second one. Be able to absorb most of this. You can also see top lane. I like the patience that we saw from Massu on the Ashe. Once Thanatos proc the adaptive shield on the passive, Massu knows the timer. He waits for the shield to fall before he fired off the auto into the volley to just guarantee you're maximizing the trade potential there in that 2v1. Make sure you're bullying the Camille.
This is interesting here. So Inspired is hovering as level 2 Ivern, and they even question mark pinged his own channeled camps on his blue side because he was unsure.
Whoa, Flash Disdain comes out from Bwipo, and now with Inspired down here in the bottom lane, Zven is under pressure. A lot of damage under the Cloud9 carry here in the bottom lane, but a heal from Vulcan barely keeps Zven alive.
Yeah, Zven, Flash, Vulcan, heal, they stay alive. That was so close there at the edge of tower as well. And Inspired had been hovering around here, as we said, still the level 2 on Ivern, but can easily go back to the rest of his camps. They will respawn way later, though, and Bwipo also now, without Flash, has to worry about Blaber coming down on this Wukong to pressure him because he's already used his teleport to get back after the big chunk at level 1 and his teleport now in avoiding that one. So it does get a little bit more dangerous for him since Cloud9 should know, hey, you know, Inspired has to at some point go collect his top camps and get those channels. Looks like Blaber's not going to come apply any extra pressure. They're like, you know what? Level 4 Urgot is way too much. The turret ramping damage now is way too much. Yeah. And they don't go for anything extra risky here. And will just be the teleport used for Massu for the swap back.
And you could see there because we were, what's the word, hovering, selecting, whatever. Bwipo's Urgot down there in the bottom lane as we were watching the recall does go for 2 points into the queue early on. I watch Quanta, who's the challenger Urgot player from North America. This is the same tech that he does. Although you max out the W, the Purge first at level 9 to maximize your damage, remove the cooldown from that, turn it into a toggle. The early 2 points on Q gives you the extra slow as well as the extra last hitting and trading potential in lane that can just make those early laning moments feel a lot more playable. So Bwipo is the exact kind of player that I expect to do his homework on these different champions, on these niche picks, and it looks like he's doing just that.
And especially do that in the lane swap scenario where you need to be able to grab those. So now after he meets back up on top side, Thanatos coming through with the Camille with a slight CS lead for himself for Mr. Thanatos. Bottom side, pretty even there as Ivern once again shadowing. They know that Zven does not have flash, but can he get a good satchel? There you go.
Yep, the satchel takes him away to safety. Busio does Spider-Man to the wall, so he would have been able to lock up Zven with the auto. Zven's satchel gets him away from that, so he's still not under any meaningful pressure. He'll take this opportunity, go for a recall, refill the mana, already stacking that tier on the Ziggs.
And now you're seeing what I was talking about with the delayed respawn timers of your camps for Ivern, because even though he had done the channeling and his top side was ready to get picked up, since he had hovered behind with Bwipo to go for that bottom side play, Inspired's camps are going to respawn way later, and so Blaber gets this little bit of lead on Wukong slightly, as his have just been straightforward cleared from top to bottom, and he gets his second clear off in time to go meet up for grubs afterwards. Inspired now going to go meet up with Bwipo as well, and since Busio is the first support to mid again, Busio is going to help the push out here for quad, and they should be able to take those grubs. This time around, though, Vulcan's not making that kind of delayed Alistar roam up towards mid to fight the grubs. They're just saying, handshake, you know what? It's fine. We will take Dragon on the other side. No need for us to go scrambling up there into a fight that is not going to be in our favor.
In game number 1, we observed how quickly Inspired's plant-based champion could take the grubs. In game number 3, we will observe how slowly Inspired's plant-based champion can take the grubs.
That's why he needs Bwipo's shotgun-based champion. To blow them up.
My favorite pairing with plants, shotguns.
Yes, exactly.
An Ohio classic.
And chainsaws.
They take care of that. They'll secure all 3 grubs. Like you said, they traded away for the first Drake. C9 securing that one for themselves. So 1 neutral objective to 1 is the count 7 minutes into the game. No kills on the board yet for either side. And to me, Kobe, what I'm looking at is C9. Thanatos and Loki, like you were talking about, with these solo laners that are so good at roaming around, causing chaos, setting up picks. Now's when I want to see it. We got the ultis.
Yeah, and the game plan's here for them to, Thanatos to the side, pops his passive shield.
Bwipo not going to have any of that, though. Blaber ready to join. The Hex Tech ultimatum has already been issued. Thanatos is low, but Blaber's making sure that he doesn't give Bwipo any sort of an angle to use the harpoon. Easy first blood for Blaber.
Yeah, doesn't even have to use his ulti. So this Wukong that just got first blood, extra money funneled in towards Trinity Force here, still has ult and flash. That is really scary for FlyQuest members. Very nice stuff here for Blaber. That was the last, like, 25 seconds of Bwipo's flash cooldown, by the way, that he had used in avoiding or trying to make the play on the lane swap on bottom half of the map. So that was a good timing from Cloud9, still tracking his flash timer.
You want to talk about good timing? How about an Ashe arrow from all the way downtown? Loki, there's just nothing you can do once the thing connects. Easy setup for quad.
Nice one. Massu the sniper. The Ashe, such a good utility pick there for FlyQuest so often. That is honestly dream.
Yeah, that's
right
perfect,
there.
Man.
That was crazy. Nailed him, headshot, easy kill. Talk about it. I mean, I guess both members of opposite teams got pretty easy kills handed to them. Like, Blaber didn't have to do the work to get that Bwipo kill. That work was done by his teammates, you know, the bottom side when the flash was blown, and then Thanatos stopping him up. So Blaber was like, oh, thank you so much for the super free gold. Same thing for quad. Thank you so much, Massu, for the accurate arrow across the map.
Team game, League of Legends. Got to depend on your teammates a little bit. Nicely done. I mean, and especially for FlyQuest in the mid lane, it's the same thing as if your opponent disconnects for a second. You get a free kill, but now you get assist money too.
Yeah, and honestly, well, we'll see about the fight over this vision as...
Okay, Blaber going in after Inspired, immediately focusing that enemy jungler, but now he could be in some danger as Quad's going right back after him. The Gravity Well going to slow down the Wukong. Inspired trying to stay away, but Blaber's ready to flash after him. Daisy trying to protect the Ivern, but it ain't going to work. Now Quad in danger here too. He will drop as well. Loki gets revenge. C9 gets 2, and Busio gets the hell away. There's nothing left for him to fight as C9 win the scrap.
That was beautiful. And that was also the difference, meaning Blaber still having his flash and ultimate, not having to use them to get the first blood. He goes straight for Inspired. And even though they knock in Quad closer to the team, he has confidence that Loki will be able to finish the kill on Viktor, and he chases the Ivern. So look at this. They're at least going to get one kill here, but the fact that they're able to get both is the exceptional part. It's the ultimate from Vulcan to lock down the Viktor, and you were talking about the synergies between him and the rest of the squad. It allowed Loki to be able to shove him in and then flash fall to get the quad kill. And Blaber said, you know what, you guys have that one covered. I'll get the Ivern as well. And Cloud9 get their first feat. 3 kills just like that, Flowers.
Nicely done for C9. Game number 3 looking good for them. 1,000 gold ahead. 10 seconds till our second set of grub spawns.
It is so dangerous to have this early Wukong spike too. Wukong with early Trinity Force, and because of the action too, his boots even come in a little bit quicker, and he's got his free boots already arrived. Blaber is actually the god right now, so they are going to take over grubs this time around, and FlyQuest say, yep. Yeah, oh, yes, sir. No problem. Those are yours.
No issue.
Yes, sir, Mr. Blaber, sir. Go ahead.
You know what? I think if you're Cloud9, you are loving Fearless Draft because you didn't get to play any more Vi. Vi is gone, and now Blaber is just running the show in games 2 and 3.
Well,
Fearless works in mysterious ways, Kobe.
Yeah, it truly does. Monkey King.
He's monkeying around in this one. 2-0-1, up in farm, up in kills, up in assists, up in objectives. It's nothing but up, up, up for the monkey.
It's still fun, too, to watch where these two teams are going to progress to, because no matter where we are in the game, as long as it hasn't been completely blown open, FlyQuest have a massive team fight available to them, especially since some of the money still, I mean, Quad got the early kill, even though he ended up dying, you know, it doesn't like take away your kill. So he still got his money, and I don't think he lost too much CS during his death timer. But you know, their 5-on-5 will be solid with the Ivern, you know, with the Viktor, as long as they have front to back fighting set up for them. And it will be fun to track, can Cloud9 with this advantage, and especially all these objectives that they're getting because of it, with the 2 dragons now and the extra grubs for themselves, will they be able to put onto display the strength of the side lanes here in this draft? Having the Taliyah and Camille, like we talked about, is going to be so fun once the outer towers go down. And then also with Vulcan already hitting 1 good Bard ultimate, we'll see if he can continue to force cooldowns out of FlyQuest. Currently, he is hovering on top side, looking to see if he can get anything out of Bwipo. Even a flash would be good, but Bwipo nicely here, just in the fog of war. No unnecessary extra information given over.
And with the second Drake claimed by C9, they now also have the feats of strength completely sewed up, done up, taken care of. 13 minutes into the game, the extra move speed, especially going to help with what you're talking about, trying to outmaneuver your opponents around. Make sure you're there just that little bit quicker. That might be the difference between being able to catch somebody before they recall or get back to the safety of their team. As Bwipo gets another wave crashing into the turret of Thanatos here in the top lane. Cloud9 is still ahead, pretty much any way you look at it. However, the gold lead is not insurmountable, like you're talking about, as long as it doesn't get completely out of control. FlyQuest could have one of those big team fight moments. Moonstone Renewer completed for Inspired. I touched on this a little bit back in the draft. The low prices help out even when you're behind. Busio is going to be your target as C9 goes in. Hextech Ultimatum on the FlyQuest support, and Busio is already down. Nicely done from Vulcan there with a Tempered Fate onto Inspired, and now they're looking to go after Bwipo here too. Inspired gets away. Bwipo trying to escape. The flash is not enough, and Thanatos takes another one. It's a 5-1 game for C9.
Yeah, Thanatos had just finished his Trinity Force after, before walking back. Bwipo stuck around here. You can see he wanted the turret plate money. It was like 1 more auto worth to try and get that turret plate. And so the rest of both teams come up. And when both teams come up, your Fed Wukong is coming up, and the other team just has the Ivern that's trying to sit behind you. And really good combination of Camille ultimate into Wukong ultimate. The Fed Wukong really being the difference here, being able to get the early kill and the chase through. Vulcan here on the Bard had been camping around waiting for this play. And then, yeah, this is the turret plate I'm talking about. Bwipo goes back. He's like, that thing's so low. That is juicy. And you can see Vulcan comes up. Busio comes up. Blaber comes up. Inspired is here. And it is really already Nautilus ult has been used, and so they just go straight for him. Thanatos, very nicely done with his Hextech ultimatum to lock him in and ensure that Blaber is going to get an easy one there. And then they continue the chase, and they still get another one because Thanatos also has Trinity Force. It's not just the Wukong threat. Both of them are on Trinity Force spikes. And so now Thanatos also getting a kill for himself. Your side lanes become so unplayable so quickly for FlyQuest.
Uh-oh. This one's about to get even worse. Bwipo in danger. The hook shot already finds him to start things off. Bwipo getting away for now. Ashe arrow comes in from a long way away, and now it's danger for Blaber. He flashes out to guarantee safety from the Mega Inferno Bomb, but now it's Massu in some trouble. He goes down. The Mega Inferno Bomb was coming from his own side. I'm getting so lost in all the stuff flying back and forth here between these teams, man. It was just C9 start to finish. Every time FlyQuest is trying something, C9 is beating them.
Yeah, they catch him in transition there. And like the outer towers had not even gone down. And already Cloud9 are making so many side lane plays here. This one starting out on the side lane, and Thanatos now getting solo gold here for the Camille too. Ooh. Scales so nicely. Zven with the Ziggs bomb gets another one. That is 2 outers for 1. Cloud9. Huge stuff here. Now we really get to see them flex their side lane muscles with all of these globals. And your Wukong at the top of the charts, like this is actually dream scenario here.
So you're talking about FlyQuest teamfight can still triumph as long as they aren't too far behind. What is 3,000 gold and 2 dragons at 16 minutes? This is starting to feel a little dicey for FlyQuest.
Yeah, it really depends on exactly which item breakpoints we're sitting on. Because like the gold value is starting to get a little bit like worrisome, but can still fight it depending on your actual item breakpoints. Okay. Like Bwipo, we still need to get Bwipo to first item here for FlyQuest. Similar for Busio. And then it's going to be about, can we actually get a good setup to it? No.
That is not a good setup. That is a Hextech ultimatum locking up the Nautilus, and he is out of there. Bwipo wanted to come in and try to help, but instead it's an Urgot-shaped loot pinata, but a 1-for-1 trade with Blaber makes it a little bit better for the side of FlyQuest. They're still going to lose a 2-for-1 in favor of C9 in that exchange.
And then that should just be a, I mean, they don't have Blaber, but they could still, I guess they're not going to take the dragon. Try and tend to their waves first. Thanatos Rado push in. Ooh, they want to try and pincer Inspired down there?
Ooh, maybe.
Loki already used his wall, though.
Yeah, there's no Weaver's Wall makes this very difficult to do.
Inspired has Flash.
He's trying to just get his Krugs. Vulcan is in the enemy jungle, placing down some vision. Inspired going to walk through here. Vulcan sees him, wanted to go for the binding, but Inspired immediately turning right back around, just ends up accidentally stepping out of the way.
Okay. So they don't actually lose that much, despite them losing the extra kill in that fight, of course, because they're still able to tend to the minion waves there and catch those. And then Cloud9 on respawn will be able to go collect Dragon number 3 and get themselves 2 soul point. Quad here, it is imperative for FlyQuest dreams of still being able to win that teamfight flowers. It is imperative that Quad still gets the majority of the gold income. Like, they really need this Viktor to be massive. Yeah. The AoE potential is definitely there from him. And if they can utilize that Ivern to keep him safe, then that's going to be their big possibilities as for winning that team fight later on. So once again, they go for the trade. You know, that they don't want to go unnecessarily into Cloud9 territory and contest around Dragon. So just grab your consolation prize of the Rift Herald instead. And that thing, hopefully, they'll be able to use it to just knock down mid-turret and get that gold for themselves.
Well, last game I was a little bit scared for FlyQuest because they had to deal with a C9 that was on Soul Point 20 minutes in. This time, C9's at Soul Point 18 minutes into the game. So very scary stuff for FlyQuest to have to deal with. They're going to have to approach these neutral objectives, these dragons, so carefully too, because if anybody is slightly off pace, slightly too far ahead or too far behind, the pick-off power that Taliyah and Camille could get it done. Speaking of getting picked off, Vulcan flashes away to guarantee that he doesn't die here in the topside river.
Oh, Quad wanted that money so bad. That was very, very close to being a bursty kill. Viktor combo, full combo used there off the initiation from Busio. You know, brush advantage is very dangerous, Flowers, so Cloud9 themselves, despite the advantage in this game, have to be a little bit careful when they're transitioning, trying to get into their positions, because they're the ones looking for picks, but so are FlyQuest. And if you give over an extra kill to that Viktor, you know, Shadow Flame is going to be upon you quickly, and the Viktor from Arcane might show up in your game.
This is the scary Arcane champ. Why not so much today? Viktor, yes. Bwipo farming up
Did
here
we
on
just hear an Urgot growl? Was that what that was, or was that you?
No, I went, ooh. Okay. No, I don't think Urgot growls. I don't know.
It sounded like a very like a noise that sort of monster would make.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take that as I could be spooky Urgot in a Halloween haunted house. I'll take that. Maybe that's this year's Halloween costume idea. Yeah. Spooky Urgot. I'll take that. Sure. Why not? Also, worth pointing out here, on the side of C9, 7 assists for Vulcan on this Bard. Has been a huge maker of plays, setter-upper of opportunities for the side of C9. Also has the Mikhails so far ready to free anybody that might get caught by an Ashe arrow.
Also, I want to highlight how important it is for Quad to farm. We were just talking about that. They just had Inspired as well as Busio hovering behind him to make sure he can get this wave, make sure we still have gold income for this Viktor. You know, we need him to be able to carry the damage in this team fight. Of course, you know, Bwipo and Massu are going to do their parts, as 2 items does come in for Massu here, and the Black Cleaver at least is going to help shred as well. But now we're going to have that big grouping. Bwipo here trying to push out bottom lane for FlyQuest and get the answer of the outer tower. That thing's pretty low, honestly. So even though Loki's moving over, Bwipo here trying to blow that thing up.
Yup, just wants to put all the damage in there, get a little bit more money for himself and the rest of the team. Turret destroyed. That'll be the second one of the game for FlyQuest, tied up 2-2 in that count. But Kobe, it is now sub 2 minutes until what will be the Dragon Soul spawns if Cloud9 takes it.
Okay, Shadow Flame achieved 4 quad though. You know, their farming efforts have been rewarded. The Viktor here does feel nice despite the big gold advantage that still is there on Wukong. You know, and of course, Blaber is a huge threat to the backline of FlyQuest. Viktor and Ashe both being low mobility, but they have a lot of appeal to them on this FlyQuest squad. And Locket of the Iron Slayer just finished here for Busio too. So that, plus the redemption from Inspired, plus Inspired shields itself, like, even though Viktor and Ashe don't have dashes available to them, they have a lot of teammates trying to keep them up in these team fights. So we'll see if Cloud9 can get their picks continuously, because I really want to see if Thanatos Camille pick here will pay off. Like, I kept on hyping up the side lanes, Flowers, but you know, that was action-packed in the earlier stages, but hasn't quite been so here for the last couple of minutes. And currently, Thanatos is pushing out on top side first. He just got to his 2-item power spike too with Sterix, so he's building a little bit for team fight too, trying to get the Sterix life, the extra shield here, if they do have to go all in on the commit.
Also worth noting the Spirit Visage, second fully completed item on Bwipo. This magnifies the amounts of shields and heals you receive, so he's betting on that Ivern like you talked about back in the draft. Bwipo is not afraid to say, Inspired, put that on me. And this is only going to make that more powerful for him on the front line.
All right, so we've basically hit a lot of 2-item parity here for these two teams. So FlyQuest now should be thinking, you know, it is very possible for us, as long as we cautiously move in, to get a good setup on one of these fights and actually take the fight.
And it looks like they are ready to contest here for the Cloud Soul. Daisy going to lead the way for FlyQuest. Immediate arrow back on Busio. He is dead before the fight even starts. Beautiful follow-up with a Tempered Fate from Vulcan. Now a ton of damage as Blaber flashes forward for the Wukong ulti. Everybody on FlyQuest goes into the blender. You wanted to talk about a careful fight. That was the exact damn opposite. Beautifully done from C9 to wipe him off the face of the rip.
You can say that again. That was
beautiful fight from C9 to wipe him off the face of the rip.
Thank you. That was actually so quick there. Zero hesitation. Immediately snap engage there for Cloud9. They split them up. They take care of business so quickly that the tower disappears before your eyes. The dragon disappears before your eyes, Flowers. FlyQuest disappeared before your eyes. Look at this. Immediately, as they're coming in, teleport from Thanatos on the other side. The Taliyah wall splits everyone away from the Nautilus, and it's immediately a 4-5. immediately there.
Taliyah wall split everybody away, and then Vulcan binds Busio into the Taliyah wall.
Actually crazy stuff.
He gets destroyed, and as soon as he's down, everybody else on C9, they smell the blood in the water, and they're just munching on whatever's left of the FlyQuest corpses.
Actually, just crazy stuff there. Put up the wall and then pin him to the wall. And then they got the seismic shove afterwards too. And while you were looking on that right side, the left side for Thanatos, I think was really cool too, because the rest of his team was all focused on that kill. But Thanatos, he then held his E and then flashed it in onto Massu. And that's why the teamfight was so quick. Immediately after they took down Busio, he was able to just delete Massu on the other side of it. He stays alive because of the Sterix, and now Cloud9, with the advantage that they got off of that team fight, FlyQuest now are in kind of desperation mode, trying to just keep some vision around these critical objectives.
And for those of you that didn't notice, hold on, never mind, we got another fight breaking out. Blaber, a little bit too far forward. Thanatos there with them. Blaber might just die here as Zven nearly drops the Chaos Storm back in the mid lane. The shutdown on Blaber. Credit goes over to Bwipo.
C9 are so split there. We're going to listen in on what the calls were at that point, because that was just Thanatos and Blaber down there. Rest of them trying to split towards mid. Quad now, though. Maybe that was it. Now Otacon is actually under attack. They're teleporting up to contest.
Okay,
Otacon's going down.
FlyQuest are seeing their opportunity back into the game here, and C9 know they got to try to stop it. FlyQuest got the Otacon down to 3K, 2K, 1,000, secured by Inspired and FlyQuest. Vulcan's here on the front line, but he's going to get locked up. Busio flashing forward, looking to follow him, but he ain't going to find what he's looking for here just yet. Instead, going to be bursted down, taken low, finally withdraws. Thanatos trying to clean up Massu. It's a withdrawal from him as well. Bwipo's very low. FlyQuest are going to lose all these Otacon buffs only for Thanatos.
Whew. Okay, so Cloud9, while they do lose out on the Otacon, they still clean up afterwards. And honestly, with the change, the extra 200 gold there, they still have time to reset, so they got some decent rewards, even though they don't technically count as
including
kills.
2 cats.
Man, that was so spread out, though, because we were trying to watch Thanatos and Blaber here in the river, right in the middle of FlyQuest and all their Ivern brushes. But then on the right side, Quad ended up in the enemy jungle, sectioned off. So honestly, we have to do some investigation and some replays there, because FlyQuest, though, they're starting Baron out, burning it down. Bwipo doing circles on it.
Yeah, they are doing a lot of damage here to the Baron. Thanatos only just now respawning. He's going to the teleport to try to join up with the rest of the fight. Vulcan's taking low, but he gets back out with a magical journey. Blaber creating space here in the middle of everybody. The Baron's still down to about 5,000 HP. FlyQuest trying to figure out what they want to do. Bwipo is nearly killed. Thanatos on the flank, but not committing here just yet. Bwipo is about to die. FlyQuest have lost their support, and they've got to keep trying to run. Inspired taken low now as well. Quad still had his false life, but he's back in the base. Massu and Bwipo are all alone, stranded here in the top lane, and FlyQuest gets destroyed again. 18-4. C9 is team fighting better.
Back to the Baron, same result, Flowers. They wipe them off. Cloud9 this time around will be able to get the objective. Actually, Thanatos wastes no time. He's already pushing. As soon as he gets to the tower, they're going to get the Baron to be able to continue it. I mean, full reset here. Baron is going to be the thing that pushes all the lanes over the edge. They already have a really powerful way to play the entire map. Yeah. Here's another look at it, though. Vulcan going to once again start that one off. Then Blaber goes in, clones back out to delay. Very necessary right there. And even though that hook lands, it's just onto the Bard, and it was a really good seismic shove, catching the extra member in. And once they get that, it's kind of the heart of the team. No Viktor, no team fight victory for them. And also no escape for Massu.
No way out. FlyQuest, you can see some frustration on the face there of Massu. C9 having a great game 3 here. Earlier today, we saw the upset of 100 Thieves taking down TL.
We back into it?
C9's in a great spot to do the same thing here to FlyQuest, to the reigning LCS champions from last year, as Busio now going to get caught out here a little bit again. Bwipo trying to turn things back around into Thanatos with his team behind him. FlyQuest hasn't lost anybody, but they are hurt. Mega Inferno Bomb comes in, the Redemption trying to heal up the FlyQuest squad as they continue retreating away from the unraveled Earth. C9, the War Machine, is still chugging along, and it will bulldoze this Tier 2 turret.
Actually clean here. Going to finish up very quickly. Continue pushing on the next one. Quad just bought the Void Staff here. He's level 16 on the Viktor, but the game has really spiraled out of control so quickly. They're no longer at item parity, that's for sure. It's a 10,000 gold lead, so a necessary Void Staff, but it's just a drop in the bucket, honestly. A little bit way too far behind. Wait a second, they're going to go for another trap play.
Yeah, they're setting up here. Okay, the blue ward does find it. But no, Bwipo just walks up anyway, instead straight into the unraveled Earth. Here on the front line, Thanatos trying to survive, but he's going to be pulled into the Bwipo grinder. He gets the fear onto 2, but a 1-for-1 trade there with the top laners, both dropping dead. FlyQuest, their health bars are so close to 0, and C9's looking to finish the job. Inspired dies to the Comet. Zven takes him out. Huge plays yet again. I just can't say it enough. C9 is team fighting better than FlyQuest, start to finish in game number 3.
C9 have an open pathway towards the base. 2 flowers. Baron buff on. 4 members up. They're going to finish it.
Nobody stands in their way. They are going straight to the Nexus. They are going straight to Brazil. They will punch that ticket. They will guarantee a top 2 spot heading into this first America-style playoffs. And now they've got a date set with 100 Thieves coming up next to decide who's going to be number 1 heading into that event. GG C9 2-1.
Yeah, we've got more action coming your way already. The 100 Thieves TL matchup was just incredible action. And now off the back of this game 3, this hype Cloud9 over FlyQuest series here, we're going to run straight into that side selection. Jatt's already ready with the interview. Jatt, what do they have to say?
Thanks, Kobe. We're going to have a coin flip for side selection in that final game soon. But Vulcan, a day of upsets, how does it feel? And was it an upset for you to take down FlyQuest here 2-1?
Not really an upset. I mean, me and Zven are back. Like, we're just running the server. It's nothing new.
Okay. Just like old times, just like that?
It's like the good old days, just 5 years ago, but we're back now.
Yeah. You also promised to translate a Loki interview, but he's running away. But how has it been? How's it been playing with the new players?
Zven's here. Well, I was going to say something rude and mean, but now that Zven's here, I will have to refrain from that. But no, I think Loki's been really good. I think he has a great mind for the game, and he's like very open to criticism and overall great attitude. And I think, as you guys could see in this series and the previous one, I think he's a really, really good player. And you'll only get better from here, so I have great hopes for Loki.
Insane PR. Insane PR. PR machine.
Thank you.
Okay, what's the anti-PR for this then?
What's the question?
I think it was basically how is it to play with the new players?
It's been alright. We had like our issues. Like I think the first 2 or 3 weeks we were stomping everyone in scrims. Then this week we kind of like lost some games.
We don't talk about this.
We had some terrible days where we've been like 3-3 against like bad teams. We got like mental breakdowns every other day. But I think we all persevered. So yeah, C9's back.
Game 1 in this series didn't seem like it was going well. They were just diving in between your turrets, but then you turn it around, and this game 3 was, both game 2 and 3 felt pretty one-sided for C9. What changed?
Honestly, the draft was so much better than theirs in the second and third game. I think they couldn't do anything, honestly.
Yeah, League of Legends is just draft gap in 2025. We are just like clicking, and then the draft does its, plays itself. So.
How collaborative is Game 3 of Fearless? Because there's so many unique champions that are gone. Is it mainly Reaper and Arrow that are doing this, or are you really in deep conversation about matchups?
Well, I'd say that the coaches have nothing to do while we're playing the game on stage, so like it's their job to figure out what the hell's going on with the Fearless things, because there's so many champs out, surely something is OP then. And yeah, they're back there, I don't know where, talking about it and figuring out a draft for us, and they cooked it well today, so congrats to them.
The win also means that you guys are guaranteed top 2 seed. We'll see if it's 1 or 2 based on the best of 1 that we're going to have after the break. How does it feel going to Sao Paulo in Brazil?
Is the best of 1 Fearless?
Yes, it's a Fearless best of 1.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Anything that's been played before the first game in the best of 1. And
he makes that the Fearless best of 1 joke like at least once a day. He thinks it's really funny. But as for Sao Paulo, I was in Brazil like many years ago during MSI 17, I think it was. It was in Rio. It was so nice. People were very nice to me and my team during a time where we were kind of hated in EU. We were like our villain arc back then, and people hated us, and they didn't care. So I have a special place, for Brazil.
That'll be a nice throwback. I also hear that the coin toss is ready to happen. We have the coaches there.
I just want to say, my manager has lost every single coin flip this year.
Well, we should do the coin flip. We can do the coin flip right now. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm done. Call your heads or tails. This is suspense. We got golden glue and an arrow right here in the shadows.
It's not even my fault. He picks heads for 2 seconds.
All right. 100 Thieves is called heads.
Let's go!
And it's heads. 100 Thieves gets side select. Another lost coin toss. Okay, that's it here. We're going to have 100 Thieves with side select in the deciding game for the #1 seed coming up after the break.
So I have a bunch of objects in front of you. I'm going to prompt you to pick them up. You just do whatever feels right for you. Feeling good?
Feeling alright.
Nice. Just please pick up the mouse. Alright, could you pick up the mouse?
I'm not gonna pick it up. That would be weird.
Sweet, you put it back. Okay. Pick up the Red Bull. There it is now. Pick up the Rubik's Cube. And then can you put away the controller? Goes in the middle.
Put away the controller?
Yeah, whatever that means to you.
Alright, what I actually do right now. So close to mine. There you go. It's mine.